Over the last 13 years, I've lost 60 pounds to keep it off, and today I'm going to reveal the 5 signs that is setting your diet up for failure, leaving you frustrated as the scale just won't budge, constantly restarting your diet every single Monday, questioning everything you do, and you are wondering 2 a.m. why you can't stay consistent losing fat. And by the end of this video, you'll know exactly how to fix your diet, create a sustainable fat loss plan, and finally lose the weight and keep it off for life. If you have not subscribed to my YouTube channel yet, make sure you hit the subscribe button because I'm making a new video about weight loss advice for busy professional men every single week. I use these strategies to help dozens of men just like you lose up to 60 pounds and finally escape the yo-yo dieting cycle. If you're tired of constantly losing and gaining the same weight, I want to help you get to your healthy self without giving up the foods that you love. The first lie you've been told is that you need your diet to be perfect to lose the weight, and you're also telling yourself that if my diet isn't perfect, my results just won't last, and you are at the point where you've been creating a long list of foods that you're not able to eat because you need to follow the rules and a plan that only works when your life is perfect. And I also think that you're just going out for dinner and you maybe have a stressful week at work and other mistakes might happen and you feel like you ruin everything. In the middle of the night, you are most likely just wondering why you're not able to follow your weight loss plan perfect for a couple of days, but you're also never able to be consistent for months. And I want you to have an approach of having 80 to 20%, and that basically just means that you're eating foods that you really enjoy and still hitting your daily calorie deficit to lose the weight. In order to lose the weight, you need to follow this calorie deficit for a long period of time in order to lose weight all around your body. And also 20% of the time you're just eating foods that you really enjoy that is not on your plate. Or maybe if it's food that is satisfying your cravings, that's just easier for you if you're doing this way. It being based around foods that you really enjoy. So also having understanding of if you need to hit your daily macros of 45% of your daily protein intake, it should be a mix of foods that is, for example, low in calories and high in density, so you're feeling fuller for longer when you are eating a calorie deficit diet because you're just not getting a lot of food. So the most important thing is just eating that satisfies your taste buds, but also being able to not feeling a lot of hunger, because calorie deficit diet just means that you are losing weight if you are able to sustain this calorie deficit, but you're also feeling a lot of hunger. So how to mitigate or manage this hunger level is very crucial. So 20% of the time you should allocate that to foods that is not on your plan. If you are getting 80% of your daily calories coming from whole foods, then the next 20% is just going to be something that can satisfy your cravings. For example, if I'm sure that I'm getting 80% of the calories coming from foods that is helping hitting my macros, the next 20% that could be like protein cookie because that's satisfying my cravings and I don't feel like I have a need to binge eat at night because I'm just feeling that I'm not eating the foods that I enjoy. And you also want to have 2 meal plans, because if you're eating the same foods for a couple of days, then you are wanting something else. And the most sustainable way to lose fat and also hitting your, for example, your calorie deficit is just eating foods that you are switching in between, because that's just easier to manage your, for example, your motivation when you're on a diet. Eating the same shit all the time is for some people just not sustainable. So I always switch my meal plans after 3 days. And you also want to put in that there are some days where you're just not perfect. Sometimes you've been eating 200 calories more because you've not been weighing your food correctly, or something that's just, for example, your scale just broke, or you were not able at work to eat the foods because you were not knowing that you had to work longer and you didn't have any breaks. So you just want to be mindful that sometimes you are just not able to do the things you do as perfectly as possible, and you try to learn from it to the next day. And it's more about the more consistent you are, the easier it is for you. And also want to praise yourself. No one is perfect. I fucked up a lot when I was trying to lose weight in the beginning, but I learned from my mistakes, and this way you're going to lose fat without feeling that you're constantly failing. If you want to lose the weight for good and become the most healthiest version of yourself, just like you saw with me and my client transformation in the beginning of the video, there's a link in the description and also in the comment section where you can apply for coaching with me, and we'll see if you and I are fit to work together, and I'll help you build a game plan to lose the weight for good. The second lie you've been told is that you need to cut out all your favorite foods forever. And if you're also thinking that if you want to lose the fat, you have to give up everything that you are enjoying, and you're most likely at the point where you've been removing bread, restaurant meals, desserts, any social meals from your life, and you have been losing weight like temporarily, but you feel so exhausted, restricted, and you want to go back to your old habits. And in the middle of the night, you're most likely been thinking like, why does every day just mean that I need to give up the life that I really enjoy? And I want you instead to think that something that is more sustainable, and you include foods that you enjoy in a strategic way. If you used to be eating a whole pack of chocolate chip cookies, I want you to have 80% of your daily calories being met through whole foods. For example, you've been hitting your calorie deficit and also your macros, and the last 20% you are just putting in some of these. Instead of chocolate chip cookies with a lot of sugar, I recommend that you are just switching it out with protein cookies, because it's high in protein and low in sugar and also high in fiber. If you want to avoid feeling hunger throughout your weight loss diet, you want to have 20 to 40 grams of fibers into your diet, because it reduces the hunger levels, and have 4-5 liters of water throughout the day, because if you're filling your stomach up with water, you're not feeling the hunger pains. And also learn to portion control. What that basically means is that 30 grams of protein and also in every meal, and also at least 40 grams of fibers, 40 grams of carbs in every meal, because the combination of these two things is going to help you feel fuller for longer. If you're only eating carbs, the amount of energy is going to be released very fast, but if you are combining it with protein, the amount of energy you are going to have is going to be released much slower, and you're not feeling the hunger pains. And also have a sustainable meals structure. For example, if you are someone who's been working out in the morning like 7 or 8 a.m., then you are having the first couple of hours not consuming any foods. Maybe if it's like 10 a.m., you know that the first meal is where you need to include that. Then you just eat the first meal, and you have 30 grams of protein, 40 grams of carbs, and you allocate most of your calories coming from that, because you've been busting your ass off in the gym, breaking down the muscle tissues, and you're just feeling exhausted. And through the right nutrition, you're going to replenish your, for example, your energy levels, and you're feeling much more focused when you are preparing to go to work, and just working, being very focusing on all the small tasks that you need to accomplish. And after work, you also need to hit in your 6,000 or 8,000 steps every single day. So you also want to have more energy after work to being able to complete the daily steps. And you also want to have more energy for when you are at home with your family and just hanging out. And doing this, you're going to build a lean body without sacrificing your lifestyle. Third lie you've been told is that you need more motivation to stay consistent, and you've most likely been failing because you just don't have any discipline, and wondering why every single Monday that you need to be more motivated. But first week maybe feels very easy, but then the work is just getting harder because it's just getting stressful. Your routine is changing, and suddenly you're just back at the point of you looking yourself in the mirror and just being disgusted and blaming yourself, that instead of relying on a system that you are never going to think is going to be realistic for you. So I also want you to have some more automatic habits that can help you set up for success. Every single Sunday, I am making an overview of my week, and I'm trying to put in the 5 sessions of strength training when I can. For example, complete the 8,000 steps, and also the cardio sessions. The first 2 weeks, you are just relying on your calorie deficit with the 300 or 500 calorie deficit, hitting your macros that I've been telling you earlier. At least 6,000 steps in the beginning, and then you follow this for 2 weeks, and eventually you're going to not lose 1 to 2 pounds, and then you're going to introduce the cardio sessions. You want to have enough time for you to complete 20 minutes on a stationary bike, 4 times a week after your strength training, because you want to allocate most of your demanding energy for working out. And if you're someone who's just starting with working out, you want to spend more time to learn the exercises, and also you want to learn something that's called mind muscle connection, where you are studying the muscle groups that you are wanting to hit, and also the exercises, so you can break down the muscle tissues, and through the right nutrition that I've been mentioned, you're going to rebuild these muscle tissues, and you're getting more muscle mass and lose fat even faster. And sometimes it just takes longer in the beginning to get to know these exercises and have your workouts to work for you, but eventually after 2 weeks or 3 weeks, you're going to be more comfortable, and having a right routine. So maybe in the first beginning of the day, you're going 4,000 steps, and then after work, maybe after dinner, you're going 4,000 steps even more. And then you're also going to not question yourself so much, feeling that you're motivated to do things. And if you also want to have a better routine with going to sleep, it's easier if you're just picking a certain time to go to sleep, and then you're doing that every single day, and not having like 30 minutes before you go into sleep on a computer or a smartphone. You just want to reflect upon the day and what you can do better, and also having your gym workouts in a bag, and also the meals prepared before going to bed, because the first thing in the morning, you're just going to wake up, you are taking the things that you've prepared, and then you just go on your day. And doing this, you're creating an environment that supports your goals, and also stay consistent without the motivation just disappearing. The fourth lie you've been told yourself is that a short-term diet will fix your weight forever, and you're most likely saying that I just need to lose the weight first, and then I'll just figure it out maintenance afterwards. And you have also just lost some weight beforehand, maybe could be anywhere from 10, 20 or 30 pounds, but months later the weight is just creeping up back, and you're searching for another diet, and 2 a.m. when you're wondering, why can't I lose the weight and keep it off? And I want you to learn about something that's called maintenance calories, because if you are starting out with your weight loss plan, you want to put in your weight, your gender, your height, your activity levels, and into something called macrocalculator.net, and then from there you're getting the macros from the maintenance calories, and you want to have a high protein diet. Maintenance calories is basically just you maintaining your current weight, and then if you want to lose weight, you need to put it into 300 calorie deficit, because that's just enough for you to lose weight in sustainable weight without feeling it's too aggressive and you being exhausted with being on this weight loss plan. You want to have a calorie deficit that is helpful for you to being able to accomplish your work, and also the strength training, the 8,000 steps, and eventually you are going to add up some of the things that could be, if you're not losing 1 to 2 pounds, you are adding up with 200 calories more, so you are in a 500 calorie deficit. If you're not losing weight with 6,000 steps, you are adding up with 2,000 steps more. So every single week you are going to adjust these things, and eventually these small changes will help you break through the weight loss plateaus. And in order for you to start seeing the results, you of course need to hop on a scale every single Monday on an empty stomach. You are naked, only weighing yourself. So after you've been doing your shit or you piss in for example, the toilet, and then it's easy to get an accurate weight, and then you putting measurements around your body to get an estimate of how your body is looking like, and also before and after pictures. That could be having a friend helping you with taking pictures in the same lighting, so it's easier every 4th week to have an estimate of how things are changing. And then, for example, if you have been losing all the weight that you really need, then eventually you are going to have a new weight, and then you also want to put the new stats, your new weights, and also your age, your gender, the activity levels into a macrocalculator.net, and then you get your new to maintenance calories. And then you're hopping on this new maintenance calories because you've been busting your ass off, you're been most likely overtraining, your nervous system is busted. So these 2 weeks you are in this maintenance calories is going to recover you, and you're not weight training at all. Maybe some light cardio sessions of running, and instead of 10,000 steps, you're just going like to 6,000 steps. So these things are going to be very helpful because it gives you the break from diets, and also you are feeling more motivated to start out with a smaller calorie deficit again when you've been resting yourself. And doing this, you're going to set you up for a way that you are going to see an end of this diet, and then you're going to lose the weight once and for good. The last lie you've been told is that you're starting over every single Monday, and that will eventually help you. And you are most likely also want to enjoy your weekend, but you're just restarting every single Monday, and it feels like a fresh start, but you're just disciplined for a couple of days. But this mistake is turning to a full week of you just cheating and overeating, and your calorie deficit is just not going to last. Years maybe has been going by, and you're still stuck in this same cycle and thinking like in the middle of the night, you've been trying this for so many years, but why you're always starting from zero? And I want you to stop this all or nothing mindset, because this most likely haven't given you the results that you want. And creating recovery strategies after doing the mistakes, I've always been working with a coach after I've been failing for a couple of years, because I don't want to waste my time getting older and getting fatter and just feeling like ashamed and destroyed my confidence. So what I've been learning is that if I'm following the plan of 300 calorie deficit, having the 45% of daily calories come from protein, 40% coming from carbs, and just having a good structured workout plan. If you're working out 5 times in the gym, you want to have all the exercises coming from your coach that can help you build this lean, toned, muscular body. Because if you want to have like the physique that I really love and admire, just like I've been accomplishing on my own after getting help from my coach, it's about having bigger, broad shoulder, small waist, big thighs, and also big arms. And doing this is going to get you this toned V-taper look that is exuding a lot of confidence. And you want to start out, for example, the first 2 exercises should be compound movements when you're working out. Compound movements are basically exercises that target several muscle groups. If you are targeting the upper part of the chest with a military Smith machine incline press, then you're going to have the first one set that could be 12 reps, and then you have 60 seconds of rest. Then you're going over to the first set that could be 10 to 12 reps. You want to have enough weight on that you can perform 1 to 2 reps before failure. Then you have 60 seconds of rest again, and then you want to increase the weight with 2.5 or 5 kilos every single time. And you want to have a good mind muscle connection where you specifically know where the muscle group that you want to target breaks down, so you are rebuilding the muscle tissues even stronger and get more muscle mass. And then you perform that 3 sets. Then you go over to dumbbell incline presses and do the same things, and then you go over to incline flies, and then eventually you go over to targeted triceps. That could be tricep push downs, tricep row push downs, tricep dips, and that is just the first part of the exercise. And you also want to take notes, because eventually you'll learn to how to master the exercise. You are going to repeat looking at the YouTube videos your coach has been giving you, and then you go over to something that's called the back. And if you're working out the back, you want to start out with compound movements. That could be barbell rows, and then you are, for example, targeting the thickness of the back, and you want to have a V-shape of back. And then you go over to seated neutral grip, and that is helping you targeting the, for example, the width more of the back. And then you're going over to something that's called dumbbell row, and that is just going to target the upper part of the, for example, the back. And then you go over to close grip pull downs. That is basically just targeting the width of the back and getting you this V-taper look from behind. And then you also want to use something that's called rear delt flies. You're targeting the back of the shoulders, and that's just the first 2 exercises. So by giving you an understanding of how the workout is looking to look like, and also the rep ranges, my muscle connection, progressive overload, is going to help you a lot with targeting the right muscle groups. And if you are sometimes feeling that you are not able to be as perfect, you do your best. Sometimes when I was just fucking up a lot because I was just not being so focused, I had a support of a coach who told me that it's okay to fuck up, but what you should do is just learn from your mistakes, and eventually you are just getting a lot of motivation to do better because you have someone in your corner to always saying that you need to do better, and you track your progress not over several days, but every single week you're getting better and better, and after months you're getting better, and eventually just you're going to master all the things. The more reps you are doing, the better you're going to be. And also when it comes to your diet, sometimes if you've been aiming for 300 calories but you just fucked up with eating way too much because you are sometimes binge eating or whatever stress that can affect your daily life, is about navigating and getting better. So sometimes you've been eating 500 calories more, the next day you're eating 500 calories less. That's just how I am trying to be of service to my clients, because no one is going to be perfect. You do your best and eventually you're just going to get better. That's just my mantra. And by doing this, you're going to break the cycle and having some permanent changes and progress. And if you want to lose the weight for good and become the most healthiest version of yourself, just like you saw with me, my client transformation in the beginning of the video, there's a link in the description and also in the comment section where you can apply for coaching with me. And we'll see if you and I are fit to work together, and I'll help you build a game plan to lose the weight for good.